So I told you at the beginning of this case that the plaintiffs had brought the case against the wrong defendants. And I told you that this case was about the medical standard of care. And you heard a lot of that just now. And that's exactly what's played out in this case. And now the plaintiffs will say, we're not talking about doctors within the standard of care. We're talking about the pill mill doctors. But the point about this being about the standard of care is that that standard of care is what masked the problem. What made it difficult to identify, at least from where a wholesale distributor sits, the bad doctors and the doctors who were caught up in this new medical standard of care, which was created by the medical community, the manufacturers like Purdue Pharma, who went out, and we heard some troubling testimony, right? We heard from Arlen Podesta that Purdue actually sent a representative to medical school students to talk about their products. We heard from Kashid Kotecha that when he was a drug investigator with the state of South Carolina, a doctor came by affiliated with Purdue to talk about these drugs. That is the medical standard of care that was changing, and that changed over time and masked the problems that the plaintiffs are now talking about. And sure enough, during this trial, what they did is they attacked the product, its addictive qualities. They attacked the prescribers, the doctors, for what they did. And at the end of this case, here we sit, and what we've heard is a lot about that bad conduct. And we've seen a lot of prescriptions about that bad conduct. But what you haven't seen is what did the distributors do to cause this? What did the distributors do to set this in motion? Well, this whole chain of events where someone ends up with drugs in their hands starts with a doctor's prescription. And they've tried to say, a prescription is just a piece of paper. We've heard that echoed from the witness stand a few times even. We heard it today. But a prescription is not just a piece of paper. It's an order from a doctor that says, this patient needs this medicine in this dosage. And I'm a doctor, I studied, I practiced, I got licensed, and my patient needs this medication. And when the standard of care became such that those prescriptions got bigger and bigger and bigger, that's what everyone was up against. That's what people like Jim Cope were up against when they were looking at these prescriptions. It changed the standard of care. And so distributors were not the cause. Distributors might show some of the effect of that standard of care because our shipments went up as prescriptions went up. But distributors were not the cause. And that's the question you got to answer here. Not did distributors meet this medical standard of care that came up, but did distributors cause this to happen? And the answer, of course, is no.